Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Pritchard, and I'd like to welcome you to the master class today on recruiting. And I'm excited to be a part of this. I want to tell you that they are doing an amazing job here in Orlando. I know some of you have had technical issues, but I want you to understand it is worth the wait. It is worth whatever you have to do to see it. And I don't know if many of you realize this, but on the open stage downstairs, not only do we get to see you behind your computers, but you might not notice, and maybe you will, there are actually, excuse me, people in seats, they're cardboard cutouts. And last night I realized that some of these cardboard cutouts are actually you. I mean, they're really you. I mean, I was looking here and I saw Malcolm and Pap, and I saw people that I knew in cardboard cutouts. So I'm going to try to take a picture and send it to some of you later. But my topic today is recruiting, and I'm excited to do recruiting because it's in my wheelhouse. It's something that I've been teaching on. I have a signature training that I've done for years and years, mostly to my team, mostly in Europe and the United States. But the fact that we're global makes it really exciting because I get to meet some of you for the first time and be able to share some of my techniques with some of you for the first time. So my formal background is college teaching. I taught at a major university, and in fact, when I was introduced to network marketing, I was introduced by a colleague who was a professor at that university, and I needed a way to make some extra income. It was during the summer. And I took off like gangbusters, but then when the school year started, I was teaching full-time. I was going to graduate school in the evening to finish my PhD. And I was also, the university had asked me if I would coach one of their collegiate teams. And so I had such little time. I mean, I had very little time to build the business. And so at about 15 months later, I realized I was not giving the business the time it deserved. And I found a way to really focus in on the key things that would really help make for a successful business. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. So anyway, my topic is recruit like a pro. And first off, I'd like to share with you that when I was analyzing the business, when I was frustrated because it wasn't growing, I came to the realization that when I talked to some of the most successful people, it seemed like they were really good at two things, and I call it the highest paid skills, and those were recruiting and promoting. And when you think of promoting, you think of people who are out there telling you about the latest event, make sure you get to this university, make sure you get to this convention. They're telling you about someone's testimonial, they're telling you about results on a product. That's promoting, and the more you promote, the more interest you create that people want to see the business or they want to try the product. That's a skill that you really need to work on because it's essential in building a business. Today, what I'm going to focus on is the other essential skill, which is called recruiting. And because I'm a teacher, I'm going to teach you from beginning to more advanced. I'm going to try to take you through some steps here. At the same time, I hope you're taking notes because I'm going to be moving quite quickly in this time frame. So when you think of recruiting, recruiting consists of really four things: the invitation, the presentation, the follow-up, and then the close or sign-up. And so that is what recruiting is. But I want to tell you something. The people who are most successful are brilliant at the first thing, which is invitation. They know how to create curiosity. They know how to create an interest that makes people want to know more about what you're doing. And so if you're going to be an expert at anything, be an expert at the invitation. Because I have seen people that are the most successful in the business. They're not necessarily the best presenters or the best trainers, but boy, are they good at the invitation. The other thing I want to mention, too, is the invitation and the follow-up are both, they're both probably the ego area of the business. In other words, this is the area that you have the most ego risk. In other words, that is where if you're going to get a no or you're going to get rejection, it's either going to be at the invitation, no, I'm not interested in seeing the business, or it's going to be at the follow-up. I've seen it, no, I'm not interested in getting involved. And so this is the area I think people fall down in the recruiting arena. In other words, they either don't put themselves out there to do the invitation, or they've done the invitation, they've done the presentation, now they're scared to do a follow-up because they don't want to get a no. And so if you can overcome those two areas and work on those ego rest areas, it can make all the difference in your recruiting skills. So first of all, let's talk about contacts. I call them contacts because that's what they are. They're contacts. They might turn into business associates. I don't usually use the word prospecting. I always feel like it's synonymous with victim or something. I stay with the word contact. And so your contacts are going to be people you know, people that are acquaintances, and people you don't know. And what I want to do is I want to cover all three areas. So first, let's talk about people you know and acquaintances, because that's the easiest. And let me tell you what I suggest to a new person when they first start. I say make a list. Now, you can make a list on your computer. You can use your contacts in your phone and make a list on your phone. You can make a list on a pad and paper or whatever. When I first started the business, we didn't have the internet and we didn't have mobile phones. And yes, the telephone was invented. But the point of it was I had to do everything with pen and paper. So what I suggest to people is make a list of everyone you know. And they say, Paula, that's crazy. I mean, everyone I know, that could take me days. Yes, but it could make you a fortune. A list of everyone you know. Just start thinking everyone you've known from the time you were a kid to every place you've lived, to every place you've worked, to every organization you belong to, every school you attended. Just empty your brain, because your brain is your memory center, but it's also a place where you strategize. If you can put the memory in front of you, then it leaves your brain free to strategize. So make a list and then categorize and organize the list. And let me tell you how I do that. I focus on something called want. What do people want? People are thinking, what's in it for me, Paula? What's in it for me? You know, if I talk about, hey, I got a way you could, you know, make this kind of income, or you could do this or that, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they want. You know, some people, maybe they're in a job that they hate. Maybe they're in debt. I don't know. But what I want to do is focus on wants. So once I've made this list, I go through the list 3 times. The first time I go through it, I check off everyone that's like me. Who's like you on that list? Who's ambitious? Who'd like to be in business for themselves? Who wants more? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for people like you. And you know who these people are because they're people that you like to hang out with. Because you talk about things. You're not just talking about people, but you're talking about things and ideas. And you know, I tell people, I say, I'm always looking for someone who's ambitious, someone who's a self-starter, someone who's positive, and someone who's coachable. Nothing's worse than being around negative people who are not coachable. So that's the qualifications I'm looking for. Then I check them off. Then I go through the list a second time. This time I'm looking for people who are dissatisfied. That's a want too, isn't it? Because they want out of their situation. You know, so I go through the list and I say, who on this list wants out of their job? Who hates who they work for, who they work with? Or who would like to move to a different location? Maybe their company transferred them to a certain city and they want to move back to where their family is. Who on this list is in debt? Who on this list loves to travel? You know, and so I check off those people. Maybe they're dissatisfied because they don't have enough vacation, so they can't travel the way they'd like to. So, and you know who these people are, because dissatisfied people, that's what they talk about when they're at social events. You ask them how it's going, they tell you how bad things are going, or how they wish things were different. And then I go through my list a third time, and this time I check off people who maybe they're not dissatisfied, it's just that they want more. Maybe they have a baby on the way and they need a bigger house. Or maybe they like to scuba dive, but they're landlocked and they only get a week's vacation, can never get anywhere far enough to enjoy some beautiful scenery to scuba dive. So consequently, I check off those people as well. Now, everyone you've checked off is a want. They either want out of something, or they want into something, or they want more of something. They want. That is your key to recruiting as far as I'm concerned. The key to recruiting is determining what a person's want is. Okay, now, you're getting ready to get to the invitation, but before you do, I'd like you to understand a few things. First of all, understand that recruiting, 80% of it is in preparation. And when I say preparation, I'm really talking about 3 or 4 things. Those 3 or 4 things would be belief, maybe confidence, posture, backup. What do I mean by that? Well, you need to work on your belief in your company and your belief in yourself. Because if you don't believe and you're talking to someone, it oozes out of your pores. They can feel it. They can tell when you're not fully engaged, you're not fully committed. You know, I learned this a long time ago. You know, no one wants to be a part of your test. You know, so you either need to be all in or all out. In other words, you've got to step off the curb. You've got to make the decision. I'm going to go for this. I'm fully in. I believe in this business. I believe in myself. And you know, the more you believe in the business, the more you believe in yourself, the more confidence you're going to have. And confidence is what you want to ooze out of your pores. You want people to see confidence. You know, in the beginning, I didn't have a lot of confidence. And so I learned something called mirroring confidence. And what that meant was you mirror someone who is confident. So I used to think to myself, what if I was the president of the Chase Manhattan Bank? How would I act? How would I talk? How would I dress? How would I shake hands? And I started to mirror that image. And so what my posture was confidence. And not, you know, once I started mirroring that, eventually I became that. I became confident. I became that person I was mirroring. And so that's critical, is your posture, your confidence in your posture. Backup is merely having a backup. In other words, if I'm going to talk to someone about the business, or I'm going to invite someone to the business, I want to have a backup of certain videos, maybe certain brochures, maybe certain trainings, certain things that I can show them or stream to them so that they can get verification or validation of what this business is all about. Also, another backup would be my sponsor or an upline that I could use on a three-way call, or I could bring onto the call to tell their story and explain, you know, what they've experienced in the business and what brought them into the business. And then the other thing would be to understand that you are a solution. I tell people you are a solution looking for a problem. You know, and when you think of it that way, if you tune your ears to constantly listening to what people have to say, and it will help you figure out what it is that they want, that you could present the business and solve that particular problem. Stay emotionally detached from the results. This is the hard part. If anything will be an obstacle in a business like this, it's the psychological, the emotional end of the business. In other words, you have to stay emotionally detached. It doesn't matter if they say yes or no. They're all equal. It doesn't make any difference. You know, you have to stay emotionally detached, because success is how many times you show it, not who says yes and who says no. You can't control that anyway. You know, fall in love with the process. That's success is in the show. Show, 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 show. Understand yeses and nos are equal in the fact that I use an example. Let's say that this was an iPhone, and it was a $1,000 iPhone, and every time I sold it, I made $100. If I showed this phone to 10 people, and the first one said, no, I already have a phone. Second one said, no, I don't need a phone. Third one said, no. But the 10th one said yes. I didn't make $100 on the 10th one. I made $10 every time I showed the business. You have to get that mentally in your head. And once you do, you'll understand it's the process that you're going to fall in love with. The yeses and nos are not important. What's important are the numbers. You know, how many times do you show the business? The other thing, and this is just a tip, I always separate the invitation from the presentation because it elevates the presentation. In other words, if I invite someone to see the business, I set up a time to show it, because it's that important that they have uninterrupted time to hear it. All right. So let's talk first about people you know. When I invited people I know, I have three different approaches that I use: a direct approach, an indirect approach, and a product approach. So you might take notes on this because I'm going to move quick. The direct approach means I know what their want is. That's the best one. I'm coming straight at them. The indirect approach is I'm really talking about someone else, hoping to get them interested. And the product approach has to do with purely product. So let me start with the direct approach. The direct approach has 4 steps to it. I call it the intro, the want, the lock-in, the close. When I first started to realize that recruiting was that critical to success, and that was the highest paid skill to learn, I used to go around to some of the most successful people, and I would record them on their different invitations. And I had a notebook full of invitations, and I'd be memorizing and memorizing and memorizing. And then I realized there was nothing duplicatable about that. And you know, this is a business of duplication, which means it not only has to be duplicatable, but it has to be teachable. I want to teach something that, you know, I want to teach my front line to teach their front line how to teach their people how to recruit. So it has to be duplicatable. It has to be simple. This is simple. The other thing I needed in this direct approach is I worked all day. I went to grad school at night. Sometimes I only had 30 minutes to make a call. I needed to be on and off the phone in 3 minutes. And this is the way I did it. Let me show you how it works. The intro was merely I call someone, say, hey, this is Paula. I've only got a minute. I've got to be somewhere. I've got to be in an appointment. The reason I say that is because I don't want them to ask me questions. Now, I didn't try to fake excitement or anything because, you know, I just wanted to be straightforward and I've got to be somewhere. Therefore, they probably won't ask me questions. And if they do, I can revert back to the fact I've got to be somewhere. So that was the intro. This is Paula. Listen, I've got to be somewhere, but I called you for a reason. That's the intro. The one is, you told me a while back you wanted whatever it is. You wanted to get out of your job, or you wanted a new house, or you wanted a new car, or you wanted to get out of debt. You told me a while back whatever it was. That's the want. Then I go to the lock-in. This is key. Were you serious, or were you just kidding around? People don't like to contradict themselves, so 9 chances out of 10 they'll say I'm serious if they said it before that they wanted this. And then I say, listen, I think, not I'm sure, I think I might have a way to help you get it. I can't go into it now. When do you have some uninterrupted time we could talk? I want to run an idea past you. That's it. That's the whole invitation. So, you know, uninterrupted time means no kids, no phones, no dogs, no television, nothing. You know, just they are going to set aside quiet time. And of course, run an idea past you is such a relaxed statement. It doesn't sound aggressive at all. And so this was what I used. I just exchanged the want depending on the person. Then I had the indirect approach. This I used for people I knew that lived in areas that were long distance. For example, and I used the same intro, but the key was, who do you know? Let me give you an example. Let's say that they lived in another country. The world's flat now. When I started, long distance was 50 miles away. But, you know, now the world's flat, so it can be any distance. Let's say they lived in Chicago. I call them and say, hey, this is Paula. Hey, how you doing? We need to catch up sometime. I've only got a minute, though. I called you for a reason. And this is what I'd say. I'm looking to expand a business in Chicago. I thought you might know someone who might be interested in a business of their own. It could mean an extra, and I throw out an income range. You know, it might be an extra $2,000 to $4,000 a month, or $3,000 to $5,000, depending on what I think is not too much, not too low to not have interest, but not too high to be unbelievable. And then I say, who do you know? And what's interesting about that is, who do you know is an open-ended question that requires a name. If I say, do you know anyone, that's a closed end, and they can just say no, yes or no. And so I say, who do you know? And you would be amazed how many times they say, well, I'm not sure I know anybody, but I might be interested. What's it all about? Then I go right into the same close that I was doing before, which is, when do you have some uninterrupted time we could talk? Because if you remember, the intro was, I've only got a minute. So, you know, nothing aggravates me more than when people call, and the minute they get you on the phone, it's like they want to tell you everything all in one swoop. And they don't realize what a bad impression that leaves. So that's the indirect. As far as the product, very similar. Only with the product, if I have someone who is a really good customer, and I might tell them, you know, reconfirming what a great product this is. In fact, it's in high demand. I've got more business than I can handle. In fact, I'm looking to expand my business, and at which point I says, who do you know that could use some serious income? Who do you know that could use some extra income? Who's the sharpest person you know? And what's interesting is some of the sharpest people they know will be some other relative, maybe their daughter, maybe their cousin, maybe themselves. Maybe they're such a believer in the product, they'll say, you know, I might be interested. What's that all about? So I've turned more customers into distributors who ended up talking about the product to other people. So those are 3 approaches that I use. You know, now let's talk about acquaintances. Acquaintances are people that I might not know what their want is. I know them, we know each other, but I don't know what their want is. So I'm going to give you 3 options. The first one is ask questions to discover what their want is. And then you can go back and use the direct approach. Once I know this direct approach and indirect approach so well, you could wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I could do it. I'm only learning one thing, one way to contact people. It's duplicatable, it's teachable, and I'll go back and using the direct approach, even acquaintances, once I ask questions and discover what their want is. How do I do that? I learned this early on, and I have to tell you, I still use it today. It's called FORM, F-O-R-M, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Message. It's message. I never learned it. That's the way I learned it from the very beginning. Message. You make a decision whether you want to deliver the message. I tell people, go out on a fact-finding mission. Find out what people want in life. How do I do that, Paula? Well, you go out and you ask them about their family. Hey, do you live around here? Oh, really? You got kids in the schools down there? Oh, you live in that house? Oh, no, you live in the trailer park. Oh, but you'd like to live in that community up there on the hill. Yeah, oh, well, and then I might ask them about their job. How's your job? I bet you love it. Oh, you hate it? Well, if you say, I bet you hate it, they'll tell you they love it. So tell them, I bet you love it, and they'll tell you what's wrong with it. And then we get to recreation. What do you like to do for fun? They say, well, I really like to fish. Really? What kind of boat do you have? Oh, you can't afford a boat. Oh, but if you could, what kind would you have? And they start telling me. And so I have a file cabinet in my head, and I'm going, okay, they want this kind of boat. They want to live in this kind of house. They wish they could get out of this job, or they'd rather be doing another job. So I have a file cabinet, and what I do is I keep a journal, and then I'll come back and I'll continue the conversation, or I might decide they want this one so bad, I'm going to use that in my direct approach. So I'll come back and I say, you told me the other day, I couldn't get our conversation out of my mind. You told me you wanted this. Were you serious or were you kidding around? Listen, I think I got a way you can have it. I can't go into it now. When's your next day off? When can we talk? I want to run an idea past you. And so the direct approach fits right into this, even with acquaintances. Can I also use the indirect approach? Absolutely. And the indirect approach with acquaintances, I could say, hey, I'm looking to expand a business around here, wherever they live or wherever their job is. Same thing with the indirect approach. But here's a new one. This is what I call my location approach, in a sense. And this is something I used frequently, especially when a network company has events in different parts of the United States or different parts of the world. I'll say to them, in my local area, I'll ask everyone I know. Let's say we were having an event in Orlando. Well, let's say I live in Ohio. I'll say to everyone I know, who do you know in Orlando? Who do you know in Orlando? Who do you know in Orlando? And they always say, why? And I'll say, because I'm looking to expand a business in Orlando. It could mean this kind of money. Who do you know? And, invariably, we'll come back to either they know somebody or would I consider expanding it in Ohio where I live. So I used to use this all the time. In fact, let me give you an example. The company I was with at one time was expanding into the United Kingdom. I asked everyone I knew, who do you know in the United Kingdom? Who do you know in the United Kingdom? Who do you know? I had a list of people a mile long. And when I went to the United Kingdom, I called every one of them. And I said, you don't know me, but I'm a friend of so-and-so. Do you know how powerful that is? When you have a reference, it gives you instant credibility. And they go, oh, how's so-and-so? And I go, they're doing great. I promised them I'd contact you when I got to the United Kingdom. We have a company, very successful. We're expanding here. It could mean some serious money. Does this sound like anything you'd like to talk about further? And some of them would say yes. Some of them would say no. Those that said yes, I set up a private appointment. I showed them the business. Some of them said yes, and some of them said no. But at the end of that, without knowing anyone in the United Kingdom, my business was doing $1 million in volume every single month, 12 months later. So I know it works. I live and breathe everything I'm teaching you. So then you're going to have people you don't know. Where are those people? Everywhere. They're in the bank line. They're at the motor vehicle license place. They're at the grocery store. They're also on social media. They're in social media. They're people that you might strike. Maybe you're part of a certain group. Maybe it's a group that rides horses. Maybe it's a group that's fans of a certain football club. Maybe you belong to a group. And what you're trying to do is move people you don't know to acquaintances. So you strike up conversations with these people. And the idea is to move them to an acquaintance. And, you do that by asking questions. So, what you're trying to do is focus on commonalities. Oh, you live here. Oh, you have kids that are in the same school district. Oh, we've been riding horses since this age. I have too, And so you're trying to take somebody with the same interest and trying to move them to acquaintance, to someone you're starting to know. And in the process of that, because you're asking questions all the time, you're getting to know them. And so I know on social media, I remember initially people would go into chat rooms and they'd be chatting back and forth and developing relationships. Now you have all different kinds of formats or platforms that you can get to know people on. I also know that you can also put out teasers, looking to expand a business, or you can put out teasers and boost those, on social media. Social media has just changed everything. I mean, it's really made the world flat, and it's really given you the opportunity. At the same time, maybe you want to focus in building in a certain country. And so you put yourself in a place where you can meet people from that different country, and then you can start up conversations. This is one thing I always teach. Never invite someone to see the business at the same time that you're collecting information. So if I'm doing form, FOR, and I'm not delivering the message, I'm doing FOR, I'm going to deliver the message later. And so I'm going to be talking to someone about their family, their occupation, what do they do for fun, what's their recreation. I'm going to come back later, maybe the next day, and say, I couldn't get our conversation out of my mind. You told me you wanted this. Were you really serious, or were you just kidding around? And they say, no, Paul, I was really serious. And at which time, and I want to say one thing about the way I do this. I'm trying to eliminate skepticism. And by eliminating skepticism, you best do that by focusing on what people want. They know they brought it up to me. I probably wouldn't have been mentioning that I might have a solution had they not brought that up to me. So it removes the skepticism from everything. So consequently, I never deliver the message at the same time, with only one exception. If I'm in a place where I'm meeting someone and we probably will never meet again, maybe I'm at the license bureau and I'm getting a license, I'm sitting next to someone, we strike up a conversation, I might deliver the message then, but I'll take a pause. In other words, I'll collect the information, I'll take a pause, and then I'll say exactly what they think. And that would be, I'll say to them, I know this sounds crazy, but are you serious when you when you say you want out of that job? Are you serious when you say you're looking for an opportunity? And they say yes, and say, this is not the time, but I'm expanding a business. I might have something you may be interested in. Why don't we exchange phone numbers? I'll give you a call. We'll get together. I'll run an idea past you. That would be the only time that I would actually do the invitation at the same time I'm collecting the information. This is a good teaching technique, because I tell people, this is a career. I spent 4 years getting my undergraduate, another year getting my graduate, and then we had a number of years to get the PhD. And I have to tell you something. I studied, practice, but I could never reach the level of success that, from a financial standpoint, as you can in this business. So you need to give it the time it deserves. You need to practice. I tell people, go out and talk to people and practice FOR. You cannot deliver the message. I don't care if they say, I'm looking for a network business. In fact, I'm looking for one that's in youth enhancement products. You can't mention the business. You can't. And what's so great about that is they go out and they're relaxed and they strike up conversations, because they're not pressuring themselves to have to do an invitation at that moment. All they're doing is collecting information. I call it going on a fact-finding mission. And this has helped teach so many of my people in the business to really get comfortable with communicating, because sometimes we spend so much time thinking about what we're going to say that we forget to listen to what they're saying. And what they're saying, there's so many clues as to why they need this business. My final thoughts. understand that the way you invite someone to see the business is their first training. So it's important that you leave a good impression. It's important that you, I'm sorry, it's important that you are not pushy, that you're not aggressive. It's important that you're doing as much evaluation of them and as anything. In other words, you're interviewing people. You have the right to choose the people you want to be associated with. You're interviewing them. So you have to realize that, you know, like in any job situation, that person needs to be showing you why they would qualify for your time, because it's going to cost you time and money to get someone started and work with them initially. So anyway, the way you invite is their first training. Remember that, because I've seen people who decided not to get involved in network marketing because the person that introduced them was pushy or aggressive or, you know, hounding them as if they're trying to sell them on it. You know, that's the last thing you want to be doing. You know, your biggest success will come after your biggest disappointment. And what I mean by that is, if I look back on my career, some of my biggest disappointments when somebody I really wanted in the business and they said no. And, you know, I make a joke about this, but there was a time when if someone said a no to me, it was like a 3-second disappointment. I turned it into 3 weeks. I mean, I wouldn't approach anyone for another 3 weeks. You know, I was letting my emotion, you know, my emotion interfere with my building of the business, instead of turning it into a 3-second disappointment like it deserved. And in other words, 1, 2, 3, next. 1, 2, 3, next. Something that you need to work on. You've got to separate the emotional part of it. Understand that, you know, people say no to the business. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to the business. You know, I think about that when a Girl Scout shows up and wants to sell me Girl Scout cookies. You know, some I'll buy and they come back again. Maybe I won't. But I'm not saying no to the Girl Scout. I'm saying no to the cookies. You know, you have to separate that. Understand, amateurs convince. We have a saying that professionals sort, amateurs convince. The last thing you want to do is convince and coax someone to get in the business, because if you have to convince and coax them, you're going to have to convince and coax them into doing something. And that's the last thing you want to be doing in this business. So please don't coax. If anything, they should be trying to convince you to pick them. Make rejection your friend. Understand that, you know, this is the real key to success in the business. And that's how you handle rejection. And you've got to make it your friend. Remember I talk about yes and no are equal? Well, yeah, that's a no. So understand that they're all the same. It's numbers. How many numbers you go through will determine what you get paid. And focus on what you control. This is the part I try to really get across to people. Focus on what you can control. You know, if you invite someone to see the business, you can't control whether they say yes or no. If they say yes and you do the presentation, you can't determine if they get in the business or not. And even if they get in the business, you have no control over whether they do something. But you spend 90% of your time worrying about things you can't control. You know what you can control in this business? How many people you talk to. That's it. That's all you control. How many people do you talk to? That's it. You can't control if any of those people you talk to want to see the business. You can't control if they get in the business. You can't control if they do anything. If they get in the business, can't control any of it. And I'm going to tell you, there's many times when people say yes, they get in and they do nothing. So you get all that excitement just to be disappointed. So you've got to take the emotions out of it. You know, I don't go up or down in my emotions. I'm just kind of level. Wait and see what happens. Yes, they got in. Oh, that's great. Wait and see what happens. Oh, they said no. Well, that's too bad. I would like to work with them. But you just got to level it out and be willing to be vulnerable. This is something I think I didn't understand it when I was doing it, but I thought I was showing courage. I wanted this business so bad. It didn't matter if you said yes or no. It didn't matter how many people I had to talk to. I came to a point where I wanted it so bad I was just going to lay myself out there no matter what. You know, if it meant streaking through town, I guess maybe I would have done that. I would have done anything. I really wanted to succeed. But, you know, I realize now when you make yourself vulnerable, and that means be willing to take the bumps, and there'll be bumps, be willing to take the no's, not take it personal, things will start to really change for you. You know, Brene Brown wrote a book called Daring Greatly, and she talks about, you know, how important courage is to success. But in order to have courage, you've got to be willing to be vulnerable. You got to be willing to lay yourself out there, you know, take the ups and the downs, be willing to take the punches. And, you know, if I can say anything to all of you out there watching, is if you can just, you know, make the decision, step off the curb, crack the egg, make a no turning back decision, and then say, I'm in this for the long haul. And you have to understand, when I started network marketing wasn't that popular. Now it's like an accepted profession. But at that time, I really had to have tough skin. I had to put on my, as I call it, my psychological armor. That, you know, I used to think to myself mentally, bullets can't penetrate this armor, neither can arrows, neither can no's. And I would go out there and I just put myself out there. And you know what? You know, I did it anyway. And, you know, we talk about pushing through the fear. You know, people think that sometimes that having courage to do a business like this means a lack of fear, and it isn't. You know, what it is it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And that's what I did. I felt the fear. I did it anyway because it's something I had never had to do before. And in the process, I grew as a person. I grew a fantastic business, and I know.
What an information-packed presentation. I truly learned quite a lot. So now we're going to pass on to Emerald Dennis to lead us the panel discussion. And Dennis has been somebody I really admire. He actually quit his job 2 months after he know about GenS, and he's an engineer, but he really reset to zero and start everything from scratch. And he's now a shining emerald, only one step away from the diamond. So let's Dennis, you have PPT, and let me set you into the co-host. How are you doing, Dennis?
Hello, Sally. How are you?
We cannot hear you.
Oh, you cannot hear me? Give me a second.
You're too concentrated, right?
Hold on. Speaker, microphone.
I can hear. Dennis, I can hear you.
For some reason, I cannot hear you.
Oh, so is everybody hear me clearly?
Anybody else can hear Dennis?
Anyone can hear me? Let me.
Yes, I can hear. Liao Qiong, you have problem.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so hello everyone. How are you? Good morning, everyone. This is Dennis. Wow, what a powerful presentation training from Paula Pritchard. I think Sally has explained before, introduced Paula. Paula is just a legend in this industry. Whoever know that, you know, if you don't know her, just search her on Google. You will find a lot of very, very great training. I think a few weeks ago, we did a training about 4D. Sally asked who still remember the 4D. If you don't remember, I think we have shared the recording in the group already or not. You know, you just subscribe to Sally's YouTube. You will find that video also on the YouTube. Okay, so okay, give me that second. Okay, so well, I just just recap what's going on this morning. That from Paula Pritchard, our wonderful diamond training. She is just a legend that I admire her so much. Every time when she was on stage, I just focus and write notes and all that. Well, it's been a lot of information. This one, recruiting like the pro. I think many people, I saw many attendants today, is from different part of the world. And I believe some of them, you already been here for a few years in GenS, or some is pretty new. Well, I think one of the most important things is, how to talk to people, how to recruit people. This is what people are afraid of. And I just recap. There's a lot of information. I just recap what the PowerPoint did the Paula present. Let me share my screen right now. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. Share screen. Well, if you have any question or idea or any comment you want to raise, type in the chat, or you can just raise hand. We will raise you up to the panel, and we can just have a very quick discussion. Okay. Let me share. Okay. So I think everybody see the share screen. Recruiting like a pro. I just did some highlight about what the point today, this morning, Paula has explained, why we want to be a pro. Okay, first, as if you want to play basketball, you want to do a hockey and all that, well, there's a limitation for us. We don't have, we're not tall enough, we're not strong enough. You want to be a pro, you have to be a very professional to earn big money. So if you want to earn big money in this industry, you need to be a pro, okay? But the skill, you don't have physical limitation. You only can, if you can talk, if you learn, you follow what Paula Pritchard training this morning, you can be a pro, okay? It is just the skill and the mindset what you are having right now, okay? So today, recruiting is the main focus. Recruiting is the main focus. So recruiting mainly, follow with 4 steps: invitation, presentation, follow up, and close. Okay. Well, invitation is the most important in here. Why I'm saying that? First, presentation, we can leverage. We can leverage the company opportunity meeting showcase. We can leverage your sponsors doing one-on-one. You can leverage our team presentation. This you can leverage. But if you learn yourself, it will be much more faster, okay? But follow up you can do is afterward. But invitation, to invite people coming in, that is the key things. So today is all talking about invitation. First, who you want to invite, okay? The one you can invite is just you have to make a list. You have to make a list, okay? The list, whoever you know or you don't know, you can make a list. You know them very much, a lot, or you just know their name and not much. Then how you categorize it. Today, Paula Pritchard has explained a very, very good technique. Okay, so but one thing, okay, she did mention very clearly in here is that before you invite, understand what. Okay, this is your preparation. Preparation. It means how but one thing very important is we have to build into ourselves of belief. Okay, she mentioned a very, very strongly that you have to believe yourself, you have to believe the company, you have to believe also the product, okay, the system. If you don't believe it, really pretty much you don't have that power to talk to people and because they are influenced by you. Okay, we call law of attraction. If you want to become an influencer, pretty much you have to have to show your self-confidence that to talk to them as a belief. So belief is very, very important. And I see also when I walk through this journey, many people is just so rush. Okay, when they see something, okay, they rush in so much. During the invitation, you present. During the invitation, you present. What does that mean? Okay, well, as we all talk about, we want to move someone that what they want. Okay, focus on want. You have to focus on. Hold on. Focus on what they want. Okay, means what the interest is. Okay, if you don't find out that, don't talk about anything. Okay, don't talk about anything yet, because sometimes I position myself as a solution provider. Solution provider means, okay, If I find out what they want, I will give them a solution. But do they want to take the solution? It's all up to them. That's why stay emotionally detached from result. That's why, this is how it goes. And one thing, okay, this is very important. This is basically is the technique, how you talk to people, okay? How you talk to people, because I find out that many of my partners also, well, they like talking. They can talk to people very clear before they join GNS. Once they join GNS, they look like, oh, they don't know how to do it. Okay, so well, very clearly, Paula Pritchard has also separated into basically three: direct approach, indirect approach, and also product approach. Okay, well, direct approach, simple. The one first you introduce yourself and you find out what they want. But the most important things, the focus is lock in. What's mean by lock in? Okay, lock in means they have to agree really they want. They have to come up from their mouths. Okay, I find out that people like you pushing people to know to what they want. Okay, for example, if the person is doing a 9-to-5 job, and you, because you want to have time freedom, like myself, when I quit my job because my job before is just so busy, and I just want to find some my own time, have free. I don't want to control by somebody else. I want to wake up when I want. I want to go to travel when I want, and if I want to stay a few more days, I can stay a few more days. I know to apply for approval. So this is what I was finding for my time freedom. But this is me. Might be not your friend, because some of the friends, they say, I like to be controlled. I like to be there. That means when you're talking to people, sometimes you push your own idea to those people, to your friends. But once you start pushing it, well, everybody like it, you will like it, okay? That is not the case. You have to find out that they will say it from their mouth. Oh, yeah, I want it. You have to lock in. Are you serious? Are you serious? Like I think Paula Pritchard has explained so many times. Ask them, are you serious? If they say yes, well, you throw them an idea. I might have some idea, run an idea past you, okay? That is how it's soft, it's not hard pushing. So indirect approach, this work very, very good. The indirect approach, I have some partner want to start a business in other location elsewhere, okay? The location indirect approach is very good. Paula has explained. If you don't know, if you missed it, go back to the video. That is also very important, that well, I want to start a business in your area. Do you know anyone? Once you ask that, who don't want it because they don't know, well, maybe I want it. That is the one that you want to hear. Then you can run the idea past him. So simple. Well, most of the time, well, if they don't know, if they find out that's okay. You detach your emotion away from the result, okay? Product approach is the same, like in indirect, who do you know who need this product? Sometimes everybody say, why don't I like it too, but you don't point out to them what do they want or not, okay? So ask question, okay? If acquaintance, that means you're not sure what they want. You need sometimes what we say, this is a warm-up meeting. We warm up, okay? We do a form. Sometimes we say FORMHD. You all talk about health and dream. So this is a very basic rule. You ask question. Ask question is the best conversation, because you don't ask question, people will not throw in things what you do. And on behind of that, I think we all go through a lot of trainings that we need to know your story. Why? Well, if you want someone that you really don't know to open their heart to talk to you, what do you want? What can you do? First, be more closer with them, connection. The way to do that is you start telling them, what do you want? What is your story? Okay. Once you start doing that, if you open your heart to talk to them, eventually they will. But it all depends how believe yourself is, what the powerful you, how you talk. People will open their mind. So this is not something that you have to train for many, many years. No. Okay. You just one click, you understand, you can achieve it. So one thing is never invite them when you're doing collecting information. Okay, this is something that you want to understand. We talk about when you try to collect information, find out what they want. Don't try to invite right away. Okay, be sure you find out what they want, then you invite. And when they invite, is what is what is from their heart. They say yes, they want it. Lock in. Well, the last thing is the final thought. What Paula Pritchard has explained is make rejection as your friend. Okay, because I'm sure we will go through a lot of people. Not everyone going to understand. Not everyone going to agree with you. But at the same time, if you think this is good, share this from your heart, and you don't need to convince. She said amateur convince. I never use convince this word, because convince means people don't believe you. You try to make them. Okay. But I do sort. Okay. If I find out that yes, you said that they want, I throw in my message. If they take it, they take it. If they don't take it, that's okay. Okay. That's okay. We go for next. And if they see this is the value to change their life, they will come back to you. You no need to chase them. You just be friend. So this is how I always talk to people. I told people, I teach people is don't try to do hard selling. Push. Okay. The people who run away from this is they feel that you are too pushy. Be nice. Be friend. Talk to them. Be a solution provider. Provide them a solution. What they really focus, what they want. Okay. And sometimes. Paula also teach a very good technique. Try to say, well, I think you like this. When you say that, people will say opposite. Oh, I hate my job. I hate my things. Not saying when you say you hate it, they say no, it's not too bad. When you say, oh, I thought you like you. Do you like your job? Your job, you look so free. You're earning a lot of money. And people will be humble normally. And what they say is, no, I hate their job. I hate my boss. This is how a lot of people, the response is like this. And then you can click in to start your conversation. Okay, so, well, today is a little bit longer on the training, on the video. But at the same time, I think that is a very, very good, a lot of information into it. And I hope everyone enjoy and learn something. And I would like to have, someone, if you have any question or you have any comment you want to raise up, well, just be free and just raise your hand or just type in the comment, and I think we can accommodate anything. Okay, if you want to have anything, and we do have a lot of professional here on the panel today. If you do, they can answer your question. Very, very good question. This is a real time. Okay, so anyone?
Dennis, thank you so much. That really summing up what Paula has taught us. I learned quite a few things. Number one is really separate these two processes, right?
Yes, that's true.
It's very important, and also we need to really make people aware we concern them. Unless the people feel you concern about them, they won't open their heart. And always listen to their stories, to ask questions to what they really would want, and then we offer the solution.
Yes, you have to listen. You have to care about them, and you ask questions. Okay, this is how the process. You listen, you care, and you offer a solution once they find out. But one thing is you have to make them, they don't like to be a status quo. Okay, they want to improve what their living is. Once you do that, you lock in. The lock-in is very important, and don't try to push it to them.
Yeah, all the details are very important.
Yep.
Let me show you a story. Recently, I found one stranger added me because I put on the YouTube how to record a training in 励志微课, and there was one boy contacted me asking, what kind of how can we do that? So I helped him a few times, and then we started to talk. And he told me his business has been going through trouble because of this COVID-19, and he has a few stores now all closed. Then I said, what if we have some other opportunity? Do you have some time? And let's fix another time. I can share with you how to earn the money from internet. And then we booked another time. Yesterday we talked about it, and he's quite interested. So I think it's important. Those skills are very important.
Yeah, that's great. That is very important. I do have some partner also doing the same thing. When they start a new area, sometimes when you go back to your hometown or someone in a different area, the indirect approach is a very, very good. Okay.
Okay, let's open to the panel to see who has some success stories to share with us. And Wulan, Helena, you are very good at developing the strange market, right? A cold market, I should say. You want to share with us a few success stories?
You talk to me?
Yes. Share with us. You are the recruitment guru in our team, right?
Today is not my meeting. I not get prepared to talking.
You don't need to prepare. You have too many stories to choose from.
Actually, for my experience, you cannot talk to the stranger in the beginning about Jeunesse. You really need to know what they want, right? What they want, what the family, what the future, like what kind of work they want. Is anything what they want? Same like Apollo Pitch said, right? They're teaching us, you when you go to the new market, you need to investigate by yourself. How much money they will spend to themselves, how much, what their education, what anything you need to know, the detail about their lives. So what my experience is.
That's very good. Yesterday, I also learned from Yvonne, there's one lady mentioned she has a book, and every day she actually contacts a cold market and then write down the details she learned from the people, like what kind of education, like you said, FORM. And then on the third page, she would mention, invite them for a Jeunesse presentation. So really need to collect a whole lot of information so you'll know what they want. Their life, of course, will not be perfect like most of our people are. So then you pick on their need, then offer your olive branch.
Yeah, and one thing I find out some of my partner, because they cannot detach the emotion from the rejection. Okay, if they cannot do that, sometime what they do is they start collecting information forever. Just keep talking, never take any action. And that is also a problem because sometimes when you find the timing, you have to throw in that question, you have to do invite. If you never do that, what means, you just keep collecting because people get afraid when you get been rejected for a few times. They say, if I never throw out that question to invite, and they will never say reject me. So they will just keep doing that forever. And they find out that is not good too for your business. So sometimes you have to take a balance to do when you want to throw in that. But the more you do, and if you detach from the rejection, this is how the more efficient you're going to be.
Lovely. And we have other friends. If anyone has success stories to share with us, please open your mic. Let me know, and I can drag you into the panelist. And whoever has questions also can raise your hand. Let us know, okay? And well, at the same time, I'm going to show you the current promotion. But of course, you guys still can let me know when you can, have success stories to share with us, or you have any questions, a puzzle. Let us know. We will discuss. This is really for all of you. Okay. Right now we have a doing genetics is very important to follow the company's rhythm. So literally copy whatever the company is doing. Okay. So now we have a Team Up 2021. The time is from 1st of March to 15th of March. And global, everywhere we can do it. So the very simple, okay, is to give the first order bonus 50% more. For example, in North America, the basic package is $25 of a first order bonus, and then you get 50% more, $12.50 more. Another package will give you $100 first order bonus. Now you have 50 more, so you're 150. And in China, it was very cool as well. Let me show you the form. There were many different packages, right? The biggest one is 3,250. Then in the past, the first order bonus is $500. So now will be $750. And for other ones, it's the same. Okay, so literally will give you $50 50% more than what you have right now. And also in China is $1 sign up. $1 sign up. Of course, you have to buy more than 100 CV above. Okay, so the promotion in North America, in the US, we have $399.95, 3 bags of Zen Fuse, and then 12 bottles of Zen Prime. Zen Prime is actually very good. I've been finished two bottles already, and you can detoxify the liver and make your skin flare more fair. So this is very good. And then 1 mind plus 4 bottle of Zen Prime is also a special, $128.95. All this special finish on March 14th. Monavi, 12 bottles, free shipping, $325. Okay, so this is also a wonderful product. And in Canada, we have also the same package for the Zen Fuse, 3 bottle of Zen Fuse and 3 bottle of Zen Shape, $363 US dollars, Canadian dollars. And also there is 10 Prime special. 10 Prime special as well. 10 Prime for $159. Also in Canada,
It's not 10. It's 12.
Okay, let me see. 12. Sorry. 12. Sorry, 12 bottles of Zen Prime. So only $159.95, and also it's quite light to ship to China if you do have friends in China need it. And we also in Canada have the Mona V. It's also free of shipping. And what to look for next is Monday is Women's Day. And I've been in Canada for 22 years. I never celebrated Women's Day, but this time, Janice will celebrate with us. Wendy Lewis and Lucy West will hold 3 hours of a discussion panel on many topics. So Monday at, I believe it's 8 o'clock, and I will send the notification in the WeChat group. So that's all for today. And anybody else has success stories about recruitment? Sunny, do you have any insight to share with us?
I think time is up, right? Because it's out already.
It is. It is.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Okay. And meanwhile, since we do have this team up, earn 50% more of the first order bonus, let's utilize that. And now using the technique we learned today, and every day get our list up, and then contact people, talk to people, and really find out what they need. It's actually very interesting. It's just to chit chat, and then you can expand your business. So if Dennis has more to say.
I think that's true. That's true. Very good. Okay. And today's technique is just, we only have less than a week left. Okay. For this team up, it's up to March 15. So take this advantage, and what you need, try to increase your action. Okay. Increase your action. Try to get a bonus. The money has to be put on the table already. Just go and grab it.
All right. And also next Saturday, we will have our OPP, and we will have a presentation. So again, also practice the technique we learned today. And next Saturday, invite new friends for the OPP. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful information-packed session. I learned a lot. I totally enjoy it. And I'll see you next Saturday.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Restez du bon côté avec le système d'avertissement sur l'angle mort.